There was a period of my life, about a year after I launched Uncommon James, where I had Uncommon James. I was filming a reality show called Very Cavallari. I was working on a cookbook. I had 3 kids and I was married. So my life was completely maxed out. And I got burnt out. It was a lot. But, owning a business, you have to have that period where you grind.
I'm Tom Ward, and over the last couple years, I've had the chance to sit down with some of the biggest celebrities and influencers in the world. What I've always found most fascinating is the stories of the businesses that they've built behind the scenes. On this show, you'll get an inside look of what it takes to build a successful business from some of the biggest celebrities, business people, and up-and-coming entrepreneurs in the world. This is The Tom Ward Show. Guys, welcome to The Tom Ward Show, where we talk to the biggest entrepreneurs in the world. And today we have such an entrepreneur, a boss really, Kristin Cavallari, founder of Uncommon James, which started out as a jewelry brand. Now it's more of a lifestyle brand, and you're into all kinds of different things, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of you, and I think it's easy maybe for a critic to go, of course she's successful. You look at the business, you go, she's beautiful, she's famous. Just slap your name on a candle and watch the money roll in. But what's funny is my wife and I watch every Real Housewives franchise, and every single one of them starts a business.
Yeah.
Every single one of them fails. I can name like maybe 12 that have started candle brands alone, and then you just never hear about it again 6 months later, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about, and I want to hear about the grind and everything, because I really love your story. But how long, because I don't think people realize that, how many years did you have to put in before you could really take a breath and say, okay, it's successful now, whatever successful means to you?
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's a great question. So it's funny because I still don't have the company where I want it to be. So it's not like I can check out and be like, okay, we've made it now, we're good. Like for me as a business owner, I'm constantly trying to scale and grow.
Of course.
I don't know when I'll ever be completely satisfied, to be honest. But to your point, I'm not necessarily in grind mode anymore. But for I'd say about 3 years, it was extremely overwhelming. It was constant, 24/7. And for me, really, there was a period of my life, about a year after I launched Uncommon James, where I had Uncommon James. I was filming a reality show called Very Cavallari. I was working on a cookbook. I had 3 kids and I was married. So my life was completely maxed out. And I got burnt out. It was a lot. But, owning a business, you have to have that period where you grind. And I knew if I did it then, there would come a point in time where I could take a little bit of a step back, which I've been able to do in the last 2 years. And I'd say the last year, I really credit that to my C-suite level team, my leadership team. I hired some incredible people in the height of the pandemic. And they have allowed me to just now kind of be in my little creative bubble. And I'm doing the designing. I have a hand in all of the marketing and the photo shoots, the stuff that I really love, which is why I started the company. But it was about a year training period after I had hired them to make sure that they knew my vision, everything was aligned, it was how I wanted it. And now I've been able to kind of come up for air a little bit. And that feels really, really nice. So in that sense, I feel like, okay, I've made it. Like I've gotten my life back a little bit.
The team is in place.
The team is great, and so yes, that all feels very, very good. But there is a period where you have to bust your ass, and that is not for everybody. And I don't think people realize how much blood, sweat, and tears go into it.
No, and I think it's easy to look at you especially too, because, from the outside, it's like, oh, okay, she has everything. Like, how hard can this be? But when I was looking at your story, I was cracking up because, first of all, this isn't your first jewelry brand, right? You started another one. What was it? Evergreen?
Emerald Dove. This is my 3rd jewelry line.
Oh, what was before Emerald Dove?
So I had another one with Pascal Mouad, who had a lot of great jewelry lines with different celebrities. Mm-hmm. And, I'm really thankful for both experiences because sometimes I think learning what not to do is almost more important than what to do. And I also had a shoe line with Chinese Laundry, and all of these things really groomed me to launch my own brand. And I'm really thankful for all of those experiences. But I think for me, it took me a minute. My first jewelry line with Pascal Mouad, I didn't really know how to speak up for what I wanted or for what I liked. And I just kind of felt like, okay, well, this is what the designer is presenting to me. I should just kind of go along with it. They know more than me. They've been doing this a long
Who
time.
am I?
Yeah, this is my first time doing this. But ultimately, what I've learned through that experience and really through Chinese laundry is that the styles that I was most passionate about, that I really loved, were ultimately my best sellers. So for me, that was a great learning lesson in that trust your gut. And I really do know my girl. I know my customer because she wants to wear what I love to wear. And so I needed that to then launch my own line to say, no, I know what I'm doing actually. And I'm going to trust my vision and my gut, and I'm going to do what I want to do.
Now, Emerald Dove, I read, you said, and to quote you, you said, it blew up in my face, right?
Yeah.
And I think what you were saying was because you didn't have control over everything. You had control over a little piece. Now, obviously, when you started out, when you started your brand, you've got control of everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what you need, or a lot of entrepreneurs need, is if you're really in this, you need it to be your own vision, and you really need to own all of it?
I think so.
Do you?
I mean, I do. At least for me, that was what worked, because I guess in a way I'm a bit of a control freak. And that was the hardest thing for me to learn to let go of with Uncommon James, was handing off some of that control. But ultimately the best thing I could have ever done. But yeah, I mean, with Emerald Dove, I did it with one of my best friends. Our friendship blew up in my face. We have since become good friends again, which makes me so happy, but it took us a minute. But, you know, we came at it from very different perspectives. I came at it from wanting to grow a brand. I didn't need to make a buck right away, which I realized I was very fortunate.
Sure.
So I wanted to put all of the money that we were making back into the company, and she needed a paycheck. And so that alone, it's difficult to navigate that. You know, she was in charge of operations, designing, essentially everything, and I was just doing marketing, and it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. It wasn't my aesthetic, all of these things. And so yes, I felt like if I could take the reins on something, I felt like I had this fire in me to like prove everybody wrong. Like, I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to show everyone that I know what I'm doing.
And I knew that because I heard you say something. I'm like, that's bullshit, because I read somewhere, I do a lot of homework for these, and you were saying like, okay, so I'm in Chicago, I got a little kid at home, and I just kind of started this because I wanted something to do. And I'm like, that is bullshit.
Because, a hobby.
Well, no, you didn't need a hobby, because I could just tell from an outsider looking at you, I'm like, she's got that fire about her. And I go, I know in there somewhere is like, because people obviously around you saw you fail. They saw this thing not work out.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't even say it failed. It actually did okay.
Oh, did it do okay?
It did okay. And to be honest with you, I actually tried to buy my friend out of the company.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't think she'd be able to come up with the money, and she did. And I was like, oh my God. So I ended, again, everything happens for a reason. Best thing that could have happened to me. But then I thought, because I didn't want to start over, right? Because we had a decent following for the company. Sales were good.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that it ended up working out that way, that I could start fresh and launch my own company. But yeah, it was more, I do think sometimes, unfortunately, people, when they have this really incredible drive and ambition, it doesn't always come from a really pure, innocent place. Mine was definitely a fire. And I think too, coming from reality TV, I also wanted to show people that I could make it in the branding world, and that I really did know what I was doing. So I think a combination of those things was really that fire within me, that I was unstoppable.
And that is very inspiring. And two, you hit on something else, right? So at the time you came up is much different than now.
Yes.
If Tom Ward is on a reality show, I go, okay, cha-ching. I know exactly, because I've seen it for 20 years, what people do, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get on Dancing with the Stars. I'm going to try to get on, the next...
Anything,
another reality show. I know these are the brands that I can work with and get Instagram deals and stuff.
Yeah.
You were before all that, and there was no roadmap. Like, I remember Paris Hilton, it was the same kind of thing. It's like, there was no roadmap.
Yeah.
We just had to figure this kind of stuff out.
Exactly.
And for you, I'm guessing at the time, it probably made sense to go, okay, I was on TV. I was good. People, I seemed to do a good job and paid me to do this, right? I had a bunch of fans. I could kind of go the LA Hollywood route and do that.
Yeah.
Did people think you were nuts for moving to Chicago, getting out of the scene and getting out of Hollywood? And what is she doing? She's starting a jewelry brand? Are things okay?
I mean, yeah. Well, obviously, everyone in LA is like, if you move to Chicago, you can kiss entertainment goodbye.
Yep.
But, I started a family, and that was the most important thing to me. I mean, I realistically couldn't live in LA. My ex-husband at the time was playing football. So it was like, either I'm going to give up I had to give up my career because he couldn't walk away from football, which was fine. I mean, I started in this business as a junior in high school. I met my ex-husband when I was 23, and by then I felt like I had lived so many lives, and it was the next natural step for me. I mean, I never once questioned it. And I was lucky because, yes, I was living in Chicago. I had 3 babies, but I was able to have my shoe line, and I ended up doing a lot of hosting for E! I was at every big award show, hosting all of the fashion stuff, which was really fun. So I kept my foot in the door a little bit, and I felt like I had a really great balance. And then when I launched Uncommon James, I just knew. I thought, going back to reality TV would be the best marketing tool. And it was. And I said from the get-go, I wanted to do 3 seasons. I only wanted to do it for the company. I actually pitched it a la Vanderpump Rules. I didn't really want to be on it. Ultimately, E! Said that they would only do it if I was going to be on it more. So I did. And I'm so happy I went back to reality TV for a multitude of reasons. But obviously the company, it skyrocketed us to another level.
Think about that. How smart. I'm not on TV. I start a jewelry line, say, right?
Yeah.
No one's paying me basically to promote my product.
Yeah.
So they're basically giving you a check saying, hey, Kristin, come on our show and be you. And you're going, cha-ching, you're paying me. And my goal is to promote the brand, which it's a double win for you.
It was.
Is that how you looked at it?
Absolutely. And Uncommon James was essentially a character on the show. And, I was very honest and real about the struggles of being a startup company. I mean, we didn't sugarcoat things. We showed all of the hiccups that we had, including shipping nightmares. I had all the wrong employees because obviously if you're filming a reality show, you're attracting a certain type of employee, which that was one thing we had to kind of clean up and deal with later. I had a lot of turnover because I didn't have the right people in the door. I think I have 1 or 2 people still today that I've had from the very beginning, which I think is very common also. I beat myself up about it for a minute, but the more entrepreneurs I talk to, they all say the same thing. You really do have a lot of turnover because you don't necessarily hire the right people in the beginning. And truly, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm learning as I go. That's the first time I've interviewed people. I didn't even know what questions to ask in the beginning, So I was kind of just faking it till I made it, and it's worked out. But yeah, it was a learning process for sure.
Now you had, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have a customer service person and a social media person and you.
In the beginning?
So when I was cracking up about it, I go, is she answering angry emails from customers at 1 a.m.?
Not at 1 a.m.
No, but it's at 7 p.m. or whatever.
So the thing I'm most proud of is that at one point in time, I had a hand in every single facet of the company. I've done it all.
Yeah.
I've done the customer service emails. I've done the shipping. I've done everything.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to be able to say that because now every employee I have, I get it. I've been there. I understand what you're going through. And so, but the customer service thing didn't last too long because I was like, I don't have the heart to do this because most customer service emails are complaints. I was like, this is going to kill me.
Yeah.
So that I think lasted for about 2 weeks.
Now, do you think, because before you said, hey, I'm in a good place now because I learned to delegate and I've got a good leadership team in place and I can focus on, you said before, I'm into design and marketing, and that's my strengths.
Yes.
What do I know about logistics or running a warehouse? And we'll leave that to the experts, right?
Exactly.
Looking back, do you go, I wish I brought those people in earlier? Or, you know what, even though it sucked at the time and it probably took time away from your family and other things you wanted to do, did you need to do that? So now, like you said, you can go, just quit your bitching. I did the same job for a year, so I know what you're going through.
Yeah, I think everything happens in the right time. I really do. And, yes, if I hired them before, I probably wouldn't be as thankful for them now. And I love that we had a few years of chaos and hardship. I mean, as stressful and chaotic as it was, I don't know. I think it's kind of a beautiful thing now to see where we are. And now when I go into the office, there's just like a sense of ease and peace. And every employee that is in that building is incredible. And I mean, truly, I mean, I credit them for the success of Uncommon James now. Everyone in that building, it's really not me anymore, truly. And so, yeah, but I think to have that appreciation, you kind of have to go from, you know, the craziness. And so, yeah, no, I'm thankful for it all.
Was there a voice in the back of your head that go, I could be on the red carpet with a mic and just making a check and go, oh, what a beautiful dress, or what are you wearing tonight? Pretty easy gig, right?
Yeah, but it's not as fulfilling.
And here I am answering emails of, you know, to pissed off customers. Was there ever any self-doubt along the way?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and there's still sometimes I'll have these thoughts come in and be like, oh my God, we're never going to be $100 million. But it's like, no, stop. You know, we're our own worst enemies in that sense. And when these thoughts come in, it's like, okay, recognize it and then let it go. You can't harbor on that stuff. But no, because I love a challenge, because to me, that's the most rewarding stuff. Like, this is my baby. And, you know, hosting is fun, but okay. I mean, you do a little prep work, you do your thing, it's fun, but then it's done. Like this, I want to, you know, leave my mark. And maybe my daughter wants to take over Uncommon James one day. You know, I don't know. But this is the thing I'm most proud of professionally. And really because I'm 100% owner, which is very rare, I think, for a celebrity brand. Like, yes, I could put my name on a company and I could have a whole team of people backing me, but I didn't want to do that. And really, I didn't want to do it because I love having complete creative freedom to do whatever I want. To me, that's a dream come true. And again, because it's that fight, that passion in me of like, no, I'm going to do this myself. And I'm going to show everybody that this was, and I say do it myself. I obviously have an incredible team, but I don't have any funding behind me. I don't have.
This was your money? You invested your money to start this?
I haven't taken on $1 of outside money. No. Wow. I don't have a partner.
You bootstrapped this whole thing.
Yes. And I'm very proud of that. I really am.
Should be.
Thank you.
That's very rare.
Yeah, that was important to me. Yeah. But that's what I mean. I mean, like, that's why I'm so proud of it. And that's why I hold it so close to my heart, because like I said, I mean, the blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into it, I mean, that's what ultimately is the most fulfilling thing to me.
So I'm looking at you and I go, I'm thinking of this point in your life, right? I have 2 little kids, so I know what that's like, right? Yeah. But I'm not a mom, so moms are at a whole nother level than dads will ever be, right? So
appreciate that.
I realize you guys are super women, and I try my best, okay? But so you got 3 little kids. You've got a company you're growing. You're also filming a show. How do you do it? I mean, how do you do it? And I think there's probably young women entrepreneurs watching this now who go, yeah, I want to start something too. But guess what? I got a day job. I got a husband. I got kids. If I take something else on, something else is going to drop off. Do I want my kids to drop off? Well, no.
No, I know.
Do I want my relationship with my husband to fall off? No, but like, how do I make this? Something's got to give. Like, how do you have any advice? Like, first of all, how did you deal with all this stuff?
Well, I really, from day one, have had 2 buckets, and one has been work and one has been family. And work has never spilled over into family. So when I started Uncommon James, in 2017, my daughter was 2, but it didn't blow up until she was in preschool. Okay. So all of my kids were in school. That's when I would go to the office. And for me, you know, I would get my kids ready for school, drop them off at school, go to the office. I would always leave by 2:30 to go and pick them up. It still is like that to this day. And I also, there was about a year where I would have to check emails after they got in bed, and that was what would just kill me. But you know, now when I have my kids, well, a few things. Now I only have my kids half the time. And so the week I have my kids, I'm mom. I'm not doing anything else. And then the week I don't have them, I can come out to LA and I can do an interview with you. And I can, you know, stay at the office later, or I can do the photo shoots and everything else I need to be doing. So in a way, that's almost forced this perfect balance on me. But before my divorce, I just decided, I mean, my kids are the most important thing to me, and I'm not going to let work take that over. And so I just decided, okay, if this is my work bucket and Uncommon James is taking most of it up, then other things, I'm going to have to start saying no to other things. And ultimately, I've gotten to a place too in the last few years where if I'm not really excited about something and really passionate about it, I'm just not going to do it, because to me, it's not worth it. I'm tired. I'm in this business since I was 18. Like, I just want to enjoy my life a little bit now, you know? And so I'm very lucky because I've been able to kind of set my life up now where I have an incredible work-life balance, and I'm enjoying my life a little bit more for the first time in a long time, because I was grinding for a long time, like we were talking about. And so I feel very lucky that I've been able to pick and choose the things I want to do, and Uncommon James will always be my top work thing. And but because I've been able to step away a little bit more, I've been able to then do a Laguna Beach Rewatch podcast, and I've been able to, you know, free up my time a little bit to do some of the other things. I worked on another cookbook last fall, and so
is it how many cookbooks for?
So now? This will be my fourth book, but third cookbook.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And so, and again, I'm going to credit my leadership team to be able to do that. I wouldn't have been able to do those things a couple years ago because you know,
somebody's got to watch.
The company would have fallen apart.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
So I mean, I think at one point, I went to Mexico to host a show on Fox called Paradise Hotel, and I remember getting phone calls, literally like the company was falling apart. So yeah, I'm very lucky that I'm able to step away now, and I know that the company is in good hands, and you know, I have some adults in the building now, which is good.
So talk about expanding your brand. So you start out with jewelry, right?
Yeah.
Now, you know, I look at your website now and you've got a bunch of stuff, right? You've got home stuff, you've got baby stuff, you've got
skincare,
you know. So what was the next progression after jewelry?
Yeah, so it just kind of naturally happened. I mean, I launched with the jewelry, and then I had a company come to me about doing home stuff, and I just thought, well, let's do it.
It's on brand. It makes sense.
Yeah. And, you know, we've kind of landed on our candles do incredibly well. And then we have kitchen and bar accessories and, you know, some other little knickknacks and stuff. But that's really the extent of it. We're not trying to be the next, you know, Anthropologie home or anything like that. We know it works, and we're happy with that. The skincare came about because my marketing guy noticed that the number one question people ask me is about my skincare routine. So he thought, there might be something here, and I'm really happy that he brought that to my attention because it's doing.
You do have great skin as I'm looking right now. And guys, this is not the light trickery or anything. She looked like this in the parking lot.
That's very sweet. Well, thank you. Well, you know, hopefully that's why Uncommon Beauty is doing very well. And I actually think that the skincare can overtake the jewelry one day.
Wow.
I do, and so I'm very thankful that we decided to do that. We've only had it for a little over a year.
You think you'll spin it off at some point, or we'll keep it under one umbrella?
I mean, it's, you know, it's all under the Uncommon James LLC. I mean, it's called Uncommon Beauty, so it's kind of its own thing, but it's the same company.
Yeah.
And we are launching a lot more products in 2023, so I'm really excited about the potential growth of that. And I love that. You know, I'm a skincare junkie, and so that's been really fun and eye-opening to me because we're a clean skincare brand when I thought I was using these incredible, you know, high-end clean products and sent them off to the lab. Of course, come to find out they're loaded with all kinds of crap. So that was kind of alarming to me. So I really did feel like there was a need for a clean skincare line that obviously worked. And so, yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. And beyond that, I mean, I don't really have any plans to, you know, launch clothing or purses. That's not my goal. I think the goal is to take what we're doing and be the best that we can be at it. And the only kind of change that I've had in the last year or so is at one point in time, I said, you know, we have our 3 stores, maybe we'll open 1 or 2 more, call it a day. I've kind of changed my tune on that a little bit.
Why?
Well, they make money. The stores make money, what do you know?
But it also costs a lot of money to operate a store,
you
doesn't
know, it does, but they, at the end of the day, make enough money where it would be a smart business idea for us to open a few more than I had initially decided on. So,
you know, it's funny. I talked to a guy, and he started out as a retail or online only business, and then he just opened his first store in Santa Monica, just a small startup. I go, do you have rocks in your head? You got you don't have to interact with customers.
Right.
It's easy. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to deal with repairs or employees, like, you know, retail employees. And he goes, yeah, but the difference is, if I'm in the store, I can hear somebody pick up my shirt and go, it fucking looks like shit.
Oh, see, I love that.
Where I don't get that from the website.
Yeah.
I don't get to see that. happen, but I get immediate feedback there.
Exactly.
Plus, there's things you could do at the store and see your customers and bring them in for events and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
can't do. Are you into that kind of thing too?
Yeah, and that's sort of the new wave of retail stores now, is having to be experiential. And so, and I think for us, we're really about like a bachelorette destination. I mean, like our Nashville store crushes it. And so we just signed a lease on a Charleston store. We're now going to go after like some of those locations. Scottsdale's on our radar.
I lived in Scottsdale.
Austin.
It's a great town. Yeah,
it's blowing up right now. Yeah. So some of those really great bachelorette or like girls trip destination cities.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think, yes, they make money. And so I think, when you look at your company balance sheet, if you have 10 stores, let's say, and they're each bringing in a decent amount of money, and I mean, that makes a difference. And so that's kind of the only pivot that we've had in the last year, is now we're starting to just, look for more cities, and we're probably going to open some more stores.
Like the biggest buzzword, and I interview entrepreneurs from like all walks of life, and what keeps coming up over and over and over again is community building.
Yeah.
And it seems like you figured it out. Like you said, say you're walking, I don't know, into a Starbucks. Can you pick out your customers?
Yeah.
Do you know what they look like? Do you know what they buy? Do you know what they drink? Do you have an idea of?
I think I do.
Pretty good?
I think so. Yeah. And I mean, I think they're very similar to me, so it's not too difficult.
Oh, okay.
But I will say,
there's people who fall outside that.
Yeah, so I was just going to say,
sure.
I've been very surprised. I'm like, by people I was like, I had no idea you would ever know who I am. So of course there's exceptions to that. But yes, the majority, yes. And a lot of these people have actually grown up with me from Laguna Beach. And so, another reason I'm so thankful I started on reality TV, at the time when I did, I think reality is very different now, but it's because people really do feel like they know me and like they've grown up with me. And so in a way, they're very invested in me. And that I credit a lot of the success of Uncommon James, especially in the beginning, to my fan base that I had. I mean, I realize how lucky I am. Mm-hmm. Social media for me is such a love-hate relationship, but I don't know that I would have Uncommon James without it.
Without
Again,
Instagram,
in the beginning,
right?
without Instagram. I mean, that was my only marketing tool for the first year that I had it. And we were successful just based on Instagram.
Yep.
And so I'm very thankful for that. And I do think it's also nice just to be able to connect with your fans or your customers. Mm-hmm. But it's a funny world that we're living in now with the social media stuff. But again, I think too, having people be able to comment on your photos and give you feedback immediately can also be a very good thing.
Yep.
Ultimately you want to make your customers very happy. I think customer service is one of the top things as a business owner that you need to be concerned with. And so that immediate feedback, although it can hurt sometimes, it can be a very good thing.
Now, we talk about reality TV too, back to what I brought up at the beginning. Okay. Now, what's everyone else doing wrong? Take your typical Real Housewife cast member without naming names who go, husband, can I borrow? I just watched this one without naming a name. And she borrowed $300 of their savings.
$300?
$300,000.
I was like, that's okay.
No, $300,000, a big chunk of their life savings, and put it in this business. I'm screaming at the TV. My voice, stop yelling. I'm like, what are you doing? This is a huge mistake. What mistakes do you see other quote unquote celebrity brands making? Why are they failing? What are they getting wrong?
I don't watch The Housewives, so I actually can't speak specifically to that. But in general, here's the only time I would think something doesn't necessarily work out is if it's not authentic to you. Yeah. If you come out with a line and it's like, what? I had no idea she drinks tequila or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That if there's a disconnect,
it's like a money grab.
Yeah, I think it has to be very true to who you are. I think it's also very obvious when you just put your name on something. I really do.
People know.
I think people know. And so that's all I can really speak on. Other than that, I don't know, because I think if you're on a reality show and you're talking about your brand, there's no reason why it shouldn't be successful to me, because you can't buy that kind of marketing. You can't. So I don't know. That would be the only thing I could see.
Yeah. So what advice do you have the person watching this, right? Probably one of your fans, right? Younger women entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs who want to get started with something, who have the challenges that every mother has.
Yeah.
Right? Where do you start, and what advice do you have for them for kind of getting something off the ground?
Well, I think that there's beauty in not overthinking things. I didn't do that. When I launched Uncommon James, I had someone to create my website and I had a manufacturer. That was it. I didn't have a business plan. I didn't think about it. I just did it. I'm someone who runs off of just like an instinct, my gut feeling. And I think that if you have that, if you have passion and drive, go for it. Just do it. And don't let a few no's stop you. People are always going to give you their opinion and, try to, I don't know, almost discourage you in a way. You can't listen to any of that noise. I really think passion and drive are not something that can be taught. If you have that,
I agree.
You can do anything.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't go to college. I don't have a BA, but I have those things.
You can't teach hustle.
No, you can't keep
I think it's
that.
something you either have or don't.
Yeah, you can't teach that. So if you have those things, then freaking go for it. But no, it's going to be a challenging road. It's not for the faint of heart. You will hit your breaking point at some point. But if you can get to the other side, it's the most beautiful thing on the planet. And I think as a mom, I think it's really cool for kids to see their mom chase their dreams and fight for what they want and go after that. I think that's one of the coolest lessons that you can teach your kid.
How about this? It just reminded me too, because my wife comes home. She was sad the other day. She's like, 3 of her friends are getting divorced, right?
Yeah, we're at that age now.
We're at that age where, this is happening, right? It may be happening to your friends too, or even you, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear it.
It's a harsh reality.
It's a harsh reality of life. But the reason, and there's two sides to every story, right? But their reason was the husband didn't support them chasing their dreams. And I'm sure they're not the only 3 women this is happening to, too.
Yeah.
What happens in that world?
It's so
I'm sure
so
is that,
true.
I'm not a woman, but is that a pretty common?
It's very common. And I think, I think ultimately guys, now here we go to dating. I think it's really hard for guys because I think a lot of this stuff is a threat to them because as much as guys want to say they want their wife to chase their dreams and be an independent woman, guys actually, not all of them, but a lot of guys want women to rely on them and to need them. And I think a woman
dating you would not be easy.
No, I know that.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, you seem like a very nice person. I didn't mean it like that at all. Yeah, you seem like a train wreck. No, but I mean, a very successful independent woman, a lot of guys can't handle that, especially if they make more than them.
Yeah.
That's a huge threat that most guys can't deal with.
I agree. I mean, trust me, I agree with you. I'm dealing with it. But yeah, I mean, I need someone who is so secure that nothing else in my life is a threat to them. And that's been difficult for me to find. Mm-hmm. But those guys do exist.
Sure.
But yes, I do think most men, unfortunately, do want a woman to rely on them. And I think having a financially independent woman is very scary to them. And I realize that is a very big issue for a lot of women. I would say maybe that's not the right person for you. You want someone who's going to support your dreams and just, I mean, that's what a husband should be, is someone that just supports you and wants you to be the most successful and shine the brightest and be all of those things. I think if you are not happy yourself and not secure in your own self, that's going to obviously come out in your relationship. And so finding, and it's not just guys, I mean, it's women too, obviously, but I think that that's the most important thing, is just finding someone who's very comfortable in their skin, who loves themselves and loves life, so that they can let you shine too.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great thing to end on.
Boom, there you go.
That was pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
All right, what else are we promoting? What else do you have going on with the company? Any lines coming out? Christmas is coming,
Yes, we just had a holiday season. We just had a holiday collection come out. We're pumping out new collections 3 times a year. Or no, sorry, more than that, because we do 2 drops for spring, 2 for summer, 2 for fall, 1 for holiday.
Are you still designing this stuff?
I am. I'm doing all of the designing, and I plan all of the big campaign shoots, and I have a hand in marketing as well. And so, yeah, I love it. I mean, I do love it. I mean, obviously, I go through my own struggles with designing. Sometimes I'm like, I feel so uninspired. I don't know where to start, where to pull from. But I've been lucky enough to have other exciting things going on in my life. Like, for example, doing this Laguna Beach Rewatch podcast. Our summer collections next summer are all about the 2005 era and that feeling of graduating high school and being out of school for summer and just trying to capture that. So the show actually really inspired that. So I've been pulling from other areas of my life for inspiration, which has been really nice too.
Where do you get, when you started, did you know anything about jewelry design?
No, I just knew what I liked, And I think too, learning from Emerald Dove, of having my girlfriend doing the designing, and I'd be like, well, I want everything to be smaller and I want it to be like this. And I love the really dainty, beautiful pieces. And she'd be like, well, they can't do that.
Yep.
I'm like, no, yes, they can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess, and again, just learning from kind of what not to do. It helped me to find what I do want to do, which has been great.
And that's the other thing too that people can do too is I interviewed a guy, his name is it's hard to say, shoe surgeon. He's an incredible guy, but he's like one of these custom sneaker guys that
cool.
Louis Vuitton.
His name is Shoe? And
the shoe surgeon, his name's Dominic Ciambrone, but
I'm like, well,
that's like his Instagram thing.
Okay.
But like he's one of these guys, Louis Vuitton will send over material and like go wild, and he'll take that and make a Nike swoosh and do all this kind of stuff. But like there was nowhere to learn shoemaking when he learned from a boot cobbler who made high-end cowboy boots.
Wow.
But the point is, like, even if you're watching this, you go, I'm interested in jewelry too. What do I know about it? I'm sure there's someone around who's making jewelry.
Yeah.
Who could at least show you without having to tie up too big an investment to go, okay, I could do this or I cannot. Or
well, it's interesting because that was a learning process for me because at first I didn't know the right questions to ask the manufacturer, right? Like I didn't know you could do thicker plating on a ring, or I didn't, all of these different levels of quality, really.
How did you even find a distributor?
Through our old manufacturer with Emerald Dove.
Oh, okay.
He was like, I can't do it, but here's another person. I was like, great. But
is he give me a good price? I don't know.
No, literally, pricing was all I cared about at first, and we had shit quality. To be honest, we've come a long way. But I mean, I had to learn all of these things, and ultimately, you want someone, your manufacturer, to be able to almost hold your hand for a little while to kind of help you, which they ended up doing, and so we've gotten to a great place. But it took a minute. I mean, it just did. Yeah. The highs and lows.
Yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sitting down. This was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications. We do interviews every Tuesday at 10 a.m. with the biggest entrepreneurs in the world from all different walks of life. Like I said, we had the shoe surgeon on talking about designing custom sneakers. We have Kristin Cavallari on, startup founders, Paris Hilton, whoever, rappers. You never know who we're going to have on next week. So thank you so much for watching, guys.